Nice day.
Well, it is a nice day.
It is a nice day.
And I really like it, and I'll tell you, this is one of the favorite spots in Toronto.
Oh, yeah?
High Park. I used to live not too far from here on Prince Margaret Boulevard, and we used to come down here a lot just because of the amount of trees that are here, the flowers, especially in the springtime, and on a nice day like that. And it kind of relaxing, soothing, so it gets rid of some of the stress that we're into.
Did you watch ever 007 movies?
I think almost everybody did, right?
Okay, so there is a famous sentence in the movie. Who are you? 007. Who are you?
They asked me the same thing.
Yes, please.
Who am I? Who am I? So I say, Erwin. Erwin who? Yeah, ERWIN SNIEDZINS. And how do you pronounce that? It's not an easy name to pronounce, especially when you see it. And so SNIEDZINS, and there's a G sound in there as opposed to SNIEDZINS. Right? So SNIEDZINS is more or less how you would normally pronounce it, but I pronounce it SNIEDZINS.
So name really got you.
Well,
I think the name, they always mispronounce. And
they always mispronounce. So I actually changed it because there's a Z in my name, and I actually said, okay, just vote for like Z or Z, right?
Do you have a trauma with the thing of the name?
No, it's just a name trying to help people to remember it, because sometimes they're not comfortable in trying to pronounce your last name.
Marilyn Monroe, she changed.
Yeah, a lot of people have changed, right? And so I think
to be popular and easy for the tongue.
Well, it's easier for people to pronounce because it's a Latvian name, and so.
So you are European.
I'm European, yes.
From Latvia.
From Latvia.
And we are neighbors. I'm Polish. You are European.
There you go. United Nations sitting here.
Right. So, what kind of European things you can bring to the table? In terms, for example, of environment, we are here in this amazing place, and you want to take care about it, and you are European neighbor, so I will not go like what Polish do in the nature most of the time. So as a European, what you can bring to the table in terms of environment?
Well, in terms of environment, Europe is very forward-thinking in sort of looking after the environment, and they're fairly well focused on trying to lower the greenhouse gas and climate change and things like that. And so you take a look at some of the technologies that they're doing to try to sort of help with the environment, and so that's kind of what I look at, plus the culture behind that as well.
So let's say you become a mayor tomorrow of Toronto, and you have to do 5 quick environmental things to help our environment. What would you do? 5 things.
Well, I would change the building code to be able to introduce and sort of make sure that within those buildings actually we're using the Earth's natural resources, which is heat from the Earth and from the sun, from
geothermal and solar.
Geothermal heat pumps, that type of stuff that allows you to actually take the energy from the Earth, from the core of the Earth, and help to reduce the greenhouse gas and your energy cost by up to about 70%.
How strong you will go in this topic? How much money will you spend to transform the whole?
Well, if you look at how much money you would invest, it's really an investment, not an expense, because you're investing in the future. So if you're paying, say, $5,000, and in turn by using geothermal heat pumps, you're also sort of lowering your energy cost by up to about 70%. So after about 10 years, it's a neutral. It's like a net zero type of situation. So it's really important.
How much would you invest?
Well, we basically would invest
20 billion.
No, you wouldn't have to do that, because it would be part of the building cost that you're doing. So you put that cost of the building. So all the high-rise apartments, they have to have geothermal heat pumps. So they're all excavating. So what you're doing for it's not that expensive. You're actually drilling down a couple of 100 feet and using the heat of the earth to sort of heat up your buildings. Okay, so that could be.
So in terms of like particular house in which lives family of 5 people. How much will be the cost to put geothermal there?
About $35,000.
35,000.
And then if you look at the life of that house and the energy cost that you're saving, so you're almost off the grid in that respect. So you would have that geothermal, and then that geothermal will heat your hot water heater, your dishwasher, and etc.
So geothermal first. What second, fourth, 5, and 5th?
Well, basically what you're looking at is power walls. The power wall is basically that can store the energy, that type of stuff. And then what you're looking at is also the solar, that type of thing, so that you have the heat from the energy during the day, and then it goes into the power wall.
So that's the first thing.
And then you also have
geothermal and solar, number 1. Number 2, second environmental thing.
Well, basically you're looking at heat hydro spinners. Like spinners that are able to
windmill.
Well, it's like a spinner as opposed to big, what you think of big windmills, that type of thing. So you're really looking at the capturing whatever sort of air currents and wind that's around the buildings.
Sorry So basically you will introduce the modern methods of transforming our power grid into the new 21st century grid based on renewable energy. All right.
Exactly. And the other thing I would introduce is basically all the garbage that Toronto produces. Toronto produces about 900,000 tons of garbage. And so what do? They separate it, about 30% of it separated.
Soprano, there was a famous movie, they were, going into the garbage thing because lots of money from
well, yeah, I mean
the best ever money in garbage.
It could be, and it is in another way as well. But there's a big cost to the city, so we're separating this particular garbage, 900 tons, and so about 70% of that is then actually shipped to landfill.
Yeah.
So that's called greenhouse gas.
Yes.
Plus you look at all the trucks going back and forth.
Yes.
So we're trying to sort of pay money, like $70 per ton, to move the garbage into a landfill. The landfill is eventually going to be full, and so what you end up doing is you're having this greenhouse gas type of situation.
Okay. In Japan, sorry. So in Japan they have like 9 boxes. So they even separate, this thing from the cup.
Cups, yeah.
You were traveling, right? You were traveling a lot. How many countries did you visit? And you are a traveler.
Yeah, I'm a traveler. I've been to 108 countries.
108.
Wow.
Wow.
That's right. And this is over my.
And you are young.
Relatively young, yes.
Yeah, because it takes time to visit so many countries.
Yes, it does. But that was one of the goals, and the reason I got into this situation because when I was trained to climb Mount Everest for charity, I basically went to practice on peak communism, and peak communism is 25,000 feet high, and so I stayed at Osh, and I was looking for some carpets to buy, and I saw this magazine, and it was in English, so I picked it up.
Good prices?
Well,
the carpet?
Yeah, better than here, but you buy them there.
You have a carpet, some carpet?
I have some carpets that I traveled over the world and picked it up. So anyway, I saw this.
Big Lubowski. Did you saw Big Lubowski?
Yeah.
With the carpet
with
thing?
the carpet thing.
Yeah, we have something about the carpet, right?
Yeah.
Polish people and Lithuanian.
Yeah. So that becomes where I read the article about the Travel Century Club. To belong to that club, you have to be to 100 countries.
How many people saw your movie? Because you got some movie on the festival. This about Mount Everest. What was the movie and how many people saw it?
Well, it's called Everest Climb for Hope. Okay, and I did the Everest thing for charity to raise money and international awareness of a disorder called Rett syndrome, which my daughter has. And so that's why I sort of resigned from Xerox to put an expedition together. And then made a movie of it that won the Gold Award at the New York Film Festival.
So you are family man. You are a conservative, you may say.
Yeah.
You are family. How important family is for you?
Family is number one.
All right.
So you have a family, and you have good people in the family, and you have people that are.
How do you protect family these days?
Well, you try to look after each other. That's the stuff, right? So support their goals and make sure that they're successful in whatever they're doing.
So do you know how many people saw your movie? They think about the Mount Everest?
I don't.
100,000 probably?
Well, that movie was done in '92.
Okay, and it was on the festival, right?
It was at the yes, it was done.
Won the some prize or something?
Well, the movie was at the International New York Film Festival, and it was actually sponsored by CTV. CTV had because they were one of our sponsors for Mount Everest, and so they had the exclusive rights for 3 years, and so it's probably been seen by hundreds of thousands of people.
I see, but you are very not really negative, but critical about news outlets, because you told me that somebody told you when the crew came to make a video with you or whatever material that they are not allowed to talk to you. Can you elaborate on it? How this is possible in democracy? In here, it's not Russia.
Well,
it's not Vladimir Putin. It is Vladimir Putin here.
I find it. I was a bit shocked, surprised that in a democratic
settlement
in a country, that actually media would censor you, and they were told not to interview you because I guess I was not quite the fringe candidate that they think they are.
And they are conservative, and you are conservative.
Right. They just wanted
but you are
focus.
not that conservative.
Well, no, I'm more of a doer. I'm not a talker, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to accomplish stuff for people and make sure that they are able to get the things in life that they want. Because I'm basically looking at running my platform is to make a difference for people with special needs, whether it's physical or mental or even financial. They're all kind of connected.
Drug abusers.
Well, yeah, because that's mental. They need emotional support.
So how about transportation? You said, I want to talk about transportation. Okay, so let's talk about transportation and then about housing, because it's your everything is housing today, and you'd like to connect and talk. So please tell me right now about housing and about transportation in whatever alignment, this or that, first, as you like.
Well, my vision, you have to have a vision for the city, for even for yourself. What do you want to do in life, right?
Yes.
Where are you going? Why do you want to do this type of thing? And I've basically been hearing about affordable housing and homeless and things like that. And I'm into looking for solutions for that. And I've come up with a solution in conjunction with, I guess, a mentor of mine that made me aware of this type of situation, is basically to be able to provide affordable housing that pays for itself. And what does that really mean? It means basically I want to have a coalition of all the not-for-profits that are after affordable housing, after mental health, and health in general, that type of stuff. I want to bring them into this coalition, or co-op coalition for affordable housing and mental health, that type of stuff. And use that coalition as a group, because it's very fragmented. Everybody's doing the thing in their various neighborhoods. Bring them together as a co-op coalition. And now I want to be able to build that coalition so it's an entity in itself, and then get a $1.8 billion what I call a Toronto affordable housing bond that would be paid back within 12 years. So that means that it's actually paying back. So we're building, and as we're building it, the bond and the loans are paid back.
How many houses you will build? Because you say that
well, with that money,
other candidates, they have ideas, and you said it's good that something is happening and there are some suggestions, but it's not enough. You're saying this is not solving the problem. You wish to go bold, and how bold? How would you go? How much would you build? Please.
Well, you're right, and I really appreciated the fact that all the candidates, most of the candidates, actually are trying to address this affordable housing. But you can't be very timid when you're going to address situations like a pandemic of not being able to have affordable housing, homelessness. It's a pandemic. We got to tackle it as emergency act. So Olivia, she has the right approach, but she's suggesting 25,000 homes, and some other people are suggesting affordable housing.
Doug Ford, 12,000 in Mississauga.
Well, even Doug Ford, 12,000. To me, that is like nothing. We have, like right now, we have almost 400,000 people come into Canada every year. And say out of those 400,000, say half of them or 40% of them are coming to Toronto area. So now all of a sudden you got 200,000 people.
How to solve the problem?
How do you solve it? So you can't say, well, I'm going to build 25,000 homes or 50. No, you got to be totally different. And I'm looking at this as being, okay, out of that $1.8 billion bond, okay, we're going to be able to do what I call prefab modular houses. We're going to
Yes.
create factories, okay, and I want to get 120 acres at Downsview Airport,
Yes.
okay, Downsview land, and I want to build a mega factory there that will produce 36,000 homes a year.
Okay, and with first house in your program, first house, when it will be built and can be like,
The first
ready?
house will be, the first 1,000 houses, 2,000 houses will be built within 2 years.
Within 2 years.
Yeah.
So how long it will take to build the factories?
The factory will take 2 years.
2 years.
We already have factories already. People are already doing that. So what I'm going to do...
Prefabricats. Like in our communist system, everybody was built from the pieces and put together very quickly. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom,
and these
boom,
are
boom.
modular. These are built in a factory. So we build them in a factory, bring them to the site, and build up. So we can build 10, 15, 20 stories up in a matter of 6 months.
Still, you're building much more than 25 or 12. But still, we have a 300,000. Well, what about our people?
No, because right now we're addressing this with one mega factory at Downsview,
Yes.
right? This is 1 million square feet
but every year,
of robotics. We're bringing
every year,
AI robotics.
Every year, 300,000 comes to Toronto, Ontario, and you are suggesting to build 36,000 per year.
That's with one factory.
Yeah.
I'm going to have 10 factories.
How long? In what time?
Within 8, 9, 10 years.
So you are saying that your program, after 10 years, will be able to build, let's say, 300,000 houses per year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So much better than Olivia Cho and Doc Ford.
Well, you need that
in the future.
But that's what you need. You need not only for GTA.
How about if the end of the world will come? Do you believe in it?
Well, then nobody has to care about it then.
That's right. Maybe it's the best solution.
Right now, we just got to look at what we have, right?
Okay.
So now, the other aspect of it, we don't want everybody coming to Toronto.
Yes.
We got to be able to create what I call satellite cities.
Yes.
Sustainable, self-sufficient satellite cities or villages.
Yes.
Okay, the villages would be 3,000 to 5,000 units, homes, that type of stuff. So those villages would be a hub outside of Toronto. So when the refugees come in and all these things, they will be going to these hubs. So they will have education and medical schools and all the rest of it, be self-sustaining.
You are a scientist, you are a person of faith, you are a person of strength, family person, you kind of dedicated person of compassion, and you would like to solve the problem in a better way than others, right? And you know how to do
More
it.
realistic.
How about this learning program? Because you said that how did you beat your firm? There is a story about your firm that you designed the software, that you patented the software.
Yeah.
It's like impossible. You patented the software, and it became big success. Tell us about it. What was it like? Learning things, something?
Well, yes. What I did is when I was in Rumbak Monastery at Mount Everest, and I basically was listening to the monks chanting. They're going on. They're using the cadence, right, to pass on information from one generation to the next. Yeah, right, that type of thing. It made me realize, well, how do people learn? So when I came down from Mount Everest, I worked with the National Research Council to try to figure out how I can come up with a system to help people to learn. And so I basically created a program called Centality, which is a training methodology. And then basically from that training methodology, I took those steps and methods and put it onto software, which I call the knowledge generator. And what it is, it's a micro learning and micro self-testing. So it's ideal for homeschooling, it's ideal for assistance for teachers and things like that, because in a classroom they have various degrees of learning, especially when they try and learn and their English isn't that good, so they have to sort of spend more time. So the knowledge generator helps them to learn it much quicker and easier, because it's a gamified, it makes a game of the content that you have to learn automatically. So you just copy and paste, and it looks at what you know it doesn't know, and it creates lessons for you and then tests you. If you don't like your marks, you just push the button from the same 2 pages of a test. They generate.
So basically, you go to the page and you see certain pictures, and you work with those pictures, and based on this knowledge, the system gives you certain tasks that you develop yourself.
You don't see any pictures. You put in the text in the engine.
For example,
in the engine, the engine
like Google search, sort of.
No, it's in the software.
Yeah.
There's a library of images. There's over
Yeah,
like
so there are
100,000.
pictures.
So when you put text in, it'll put the word apple, and you'll see a picture of an apple.
Uh-huh.
If you see a mother, you'll see a picture of a
Yes.
mother, right? So if you want to personalize it, you can click on it.
Is it artificial intelligence?
It's AI, machine learning,
So when did you come up with this idea?
from the Rumbuk Monastery.
Yeah,
I
but how many years before?
Well, this is back in '92 and '96.
So you may say you are the father of artificial intelligence. And you patented.
I patent the learning process. Okay. So
But
even now,
say
now,
it's not safe. They say it's not safe. What is not safe about it?
well, it's not.
COVID or something?
Well,
What is
if
not
you're
safe?
talking about generally
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
that depending on whoever programs that,
Yeah.
they could be good or bad.
What can
right?
be bad? What can be bad?
Well, it could be because they could give you misinformation. Okay, it will not give you the right information. That
Yes.
type of stuff.
Misleading.
or no, not the full, so you're not making up your own mind, and that type of stuff.
It can kill you some way.
Well, it could,
If you
it can
give-
give you information
Yeah.
on your health.
Yeah.
If you're asking for your health, and they can remedies, and they say no, take this particular concoction.
Yeah.
And if you believe in that, then you may
For example,
take it. It's no
car is
good.
going. He says this way, and this is not way, and then you went to
Well,
the car
yeah.
through the different engines.
Well, the AI, that type of scenario can sort of help you, or
should
can
we
hinder you.
should we work with it, or should we abandon it? What is
I
your
think
opinion?
it all depends on the creator.
Oh.
So whoever creates that, or the people that create it, or actually the person that creates it, whatever their particular goal is.
The goal is always the same: to get more money.
Well,
It's not about
you can get
Jesus
more
or
money.
Buddha.
You can get more money, A or B, right?
Yeah.
That type of stuff. So if you want to do it from an evil point, you can get money. You can exploit people. You can sort of control those people, or you can liberate people so
Right.
that they can make their own decisions.
So it has
on
to be a
information.
process who will verify who is doing it, for what is done, and it's supposed to be sort of like constant control over it by people.
Well, the AI eventually will.
People
whatever
or who?
the
First secretario,
algorithm. Well,
or
yeah, but the thing about it is when you create the algorithms,
Yeah.
they're already biased by the creator.
yeah.
That type of stuff. So, like I said, if you're doing it for the
So
good,
you have to have overseeing process over it by the people.
it would help to have a
You don't want
guideline.
to have you don't want to have overseeing.
I think basically there should be some guidance, that
Yes.
type of thing. But then,
So-
if somebody's evil, they're not
Yeah.
going to look at the guidance. If
Well,
somebody wants,
I think maybe you are a little bit evil.
well, hold it, hold it, because if somebody wants to, like, you got atomic bombs,
Yeah.
right? So with one push of a button, that's controlled
Yeah.
by an individual. Now, basically, if you have it controlled by an
It's
AI,
difficult to define who is evil because I will have to see your heart. Really know to judge. You are
the
not
heart
a god.
sometimes changes,
I am
too.
not a god to say you are good or bad. You
But
can be
anyway,
good or
so
bad.
AI in my particular case is helping people to take information
Yes.
and turn it into their knowledge.
How about transportation?
Transportation, I want to bring the TTC into the 22nd century. The TTC is sort of hanging on the fact that they were doing this 100 years ago and they want to keep some of the things there. I want to revamp the TTC. I want to bring in 22nd century. That means basically I want to get rid of the streetcar tracks. I want to migrate it towards EV, electrical vehicles, okay, autonomous electrical vehicle buses. So that means that in 3 years' time, 4 years' time.
No streetcars.
No streetcars. No street.
How many years it will take to do it?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
They are building this Metrolink thing
Well, I know.
for
And we're
20
spending-
years
yeah,
with 20 billions
yeah,
almost.
Well, I would, all those projects.
Who is gonna remove all these trucks and everything? They will stay there.
They will stay there, or actually, what I would want to do is repair the roads. When you repair the roads, I want to put geothermal heat pumps into
So you are
roads.
future. You are a future.
I'm talking about the future. Bring it in 22nd century.
If
you know?
somebody can be ironic and didn't like you, so you can say, well, if you are so much about future, almost like 100 years, advance, so maybe we'll choose you for a name in the future, not for today. You are not the man for today.
That's fine. Take
How
my-
you will defend yourself? Please tell right now to all the
I
voters.
basically want to say to you,
You are a person for today.
Here's my vision for Toronto. Okay, is be able to revamp the TTC so that we can sort of get away from the streetcars. There's 2,100 buses. I want to bring in 3,000 autonomous robo taxis. Okay, Uber taxis, operated and controlled by TTC. I want to bring in 500 shuttle buses, that type of stuff, to be able to handle the peak traffic, and then have personal-to-personal delivery for safety and security. So the TTC taxi, Uber taxi, will come to your door, pick you up, and take you where you want to go. So it's all controlled by the Tesla sort of autonomous sort of systems that allow you to sort of have that security, and your personal TTC driver come to get you. So the driving people that are the conductors that are driving buses and stuff like that right now will switch over to helping with the autonomous shuttle buses. These shuttle buses will go and help people pick them up from their homes, bring them to where they want to go. You still have the existing transit, which is great. We'll utilize that, but we don't have to now in the future actually go through this type of situation. We're spending $10 billion in 10 years to build a subway system that's not necessarily functioning for everybody. So that's the safety and security. Immediately right now for TTC, what I would do is make sure that you take all the cameras, make sure all the cameras hooked up to megaphones, and make sure there's free Wi-Fi. Never mind this advertising in the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi in the subway is a security safety system. Get rid of all this advertising. Make sure there's high-speed Wi-Fi in the subway transit systems. If somebody sees something and they want to say something, they push the button, it goes to the security camera. The camera picks up, the conductor, security guy says, "We see you, we're coming to get you, stop." And then we have panic buttons on the cameras, and it'll be flashing. So you want to disrupt whatever's happening within the TTC that's causing harm to their passengers or fear. So that's a security immediately, and it wouldn't cost that much money. We can do that within a year, that type of thing. While we transition to autonomous electric vehicle buses, okay? That's one thing with the TTC. And that's what I recommend to be able to save $1 billion over 5 years, 8 years.
Okay, so is anything would you like to add to tell to your voters? Vote for me, where you can find me, whatever.
Well, my name's ERWIN SNIEDZINS, and I'm running for Toronto Mayor, and I'd like for you to support me and vote for me on June the 26th. And I'm running on a platform of making a difference for affordable housing and for people that have special needs, especially whether it's physical, mental, or financial. They all need. So if you know anybody that needs that, that's my platform. Right? I'm there to help. So I'm not a talker. I'm basically a doer. As I mentioned, I've patented educational software that helps people to learn 32% better. I basically took my company public on the U.S. stock market. I basically have a best-selling author, traveled to 108 countries, and I want to be able to make a difference for Toronto and for the people that have better security and affordable housing. But I need that coalition of all the people. If they're serious about really trying to get affordable housing, and then join me as a coalition to be able to get affordable housing within 3 to 5 to 8 years. And I'm talking about 100,000 homes a year, that type of situation, through a mega factory that I will be able to build with the $1.8 billion bond that we will pay back, you know, to the city and to the government, that type of stuff, after about 12 years. So vote for me, and if you have any questions or want more information, go to my website, which is Snidgens for the number 4 mayor.com. So that's Snidgens, the number 4 mayor.com.
How do you pronounce your name, so?
Sniddzins. I would SNIEDZINS.
.com.
.com. No, it's snidgens4mayor.com. Right?
Okay. So for me, it's hard to judge how ideas of ERWIN will shape in the future, but he's one of a few people who decided to meet with me, talk with me. So on that action that we had, I may say he's a good man. And besides ideas that I have as well, amazing ideas that I cannot judge, I have to say that's a good man, and he's real, he's here, and I was with him. So that's something what really is valuable, and on that matter I give him remote control so he can stop the engine, red button.
The red button?
Yeah.
I hope to see you on June 26th, and hope to see you at City Hall with me, making the changes, affordable housing, safe transit,